Hi friends, and welcome back to playing tribute to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Resolve, where my sound is being weird. I want to make sure that it's good. Okay. It's struggling a little bit. So last we left off, we're closing out the trial for this episode, where we have named a culprit, and sadly must follow through with that. The sound is really struggling. I'm gonna pause it for a second. You won't see any time pass. Hopefully it's fixed now. Joyful, jubilant, jumping jacks! Oh, Mr. Natsume! I'm so pleased for you. Locum student Mr. Naruto, Esquire, and non-locum judicial assistant Miss Mikatoba, Esquiress. Now, finally, at long last, there can be proof. Proof that I'm innocent, and proof that my tea is innocent. Ah, good morning, my dear fellows. Oh, look who decided to show up. Ah, Herlock Sholmes! May you drink my tepid tea and fall forever silent. I thought the tea was innocent. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you came. How wonderful. Please, save your derision. I know what you're all thinking. Good morning, he says, when it's very nearly time for luncheon. Your scorn is written clearly across your faces. Nobody said or thought anything of the sort. I mean, I thought about the fact that he was late. The truth is, I was determined that today would be the day. As sleep seduced me last night, I thought, tomorrow, for once, I shall not oversleep. Arise early and be present in court to support my companions. Such spirited determination has a beauty all its own, does it not? Oh, yes! And then I began to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep? I queried. Why, time and time, do they make the same foolish blunder? Time after time. And the answer came to me at once. It was so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep. Well, is that not an astute insight on the matter? Oh, yes. You don't have to humor him, Susato. Upon which realization, I attempted an experiment. I didn't sleep a week all night. And the results? By first light, I was exhausted, and began to be assailed by the fits of drowsiness. Shocking. And so, the conclusion of last night's experiment is this. A good night's sleep is quite simply essential. Yes, I think most of us probably knew that already. Don't pull all-nighters, guys. What others presuppose, I prove by experimentation. That, my dear fellow, is the scientific method. Ah, yes, and one more. Do you remember this? Ah! Yes, of course, it's the poison that Miss Green was about to drink at the hospital yesterday. Oh, you didn't manage to... It was a laborious task, as the bottle was near empty, but such inconveniences do not hinder Sholmes. I managed to confirm that it contains strychnine. So I was right. Perhaps, though of course such circumstantial evidence doesn't prove Miss Green's guilt. I shall leave the bottle in your care. But licking the inside of the neck is not recommended. Why would I do that? Slow-acting poison strychnine inside. We'll have a word with whoever that is in just a second. Let me make sure. It's always good to observe everything. So this is the poison we've been hearing so much about. Strychnine. There are a few remnants of at the bottom of the bottle here. Look. You mustn't be tempted to try it. Of course not. As long as we don't lose this trial. Wow. No, even if we lose the trial. No, we mustn't lose the trial in the first place, Mr. Naruto. Make your mind up, Susato-san. Alright, that's all for that. Let's see who's trying to get our attention. Oh. Sup, dude? Gregson! How good of you to come. Forget it, excuse me. Wait a minute, Inspector. Oh, he came back with his chips. I don't wish to make a nuisance of myself. From the look on your face and say it's someone else who you think is making a nuisance of himself. That side eye towards Sholmes. My dear Inspector, please, speak freely. Pretend that I'm not here. Believe me, if I could do that, life would be a whole lot simpler for me. Do you have the results, Inspector, of the investigation of Mr. Shamspeare's room? Not yet. Shouldn't be long now, though. No, I'm here about something else. A dead convict, actually. Oh, you mean the man from this newspaper article we discovered yesterday in Mr. Shamspeare's room? A man by the name of, yes, Selden. I went through the archives of the yard and dug out the fellow's file. There's something in there that, well, caught my eye. Something caught your eye? What, Inspector, what? I copied out the relevant parts for you, so you can read it for yourselves. Thank you. Scotland Yard's file about the convicted criminal Selden that includes a newspaper article about him dying of illness in prison. Let's take a look at these documents. 18 counts of burglary, 6 counts of suspected murder. Died of natural causes while in prison, his final moments witnessed only by his cellmate. The estimated £1,000 worth of loot he stole remains uncovered. Manchester's Strange Ways prison announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours this morning. He'd been suffering with fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. That's the stuff we knew already. So... okay. These documents include the details that were in the newspaper cutting we found in Mr. Shamspeare's room. I'll rearrange everything in the court record, so we don't have duplicate information. Oh, I didn't even notice whether that was already done. Was that already done? I feel like it was. I don't know, now I can't tell. I wasn't paying attention. Why are you giving us a copy of this important file, though? Well, you're the ones who turned up the clue in the first place, aren't you? Just making sure things get handled in the proper fashion. Oh, Scotland Yard's workings are so wonderful. Indeed, my dear fellows, and the inspector here is a shining diamond in his crown. A shining diamond in the rough, maybe. Look, I just don't want to be beholden to a lawyer, that's all. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court proceedings are about to resume. Make your way into the courtroom at once. Well, I shall leave you then. I'll be listening with interest from the public gallery. No, not nodding off at all. Certainly not. Why do I have a feeling he's going to be nodding off? Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm rather tired of seeing Mr. Mustache in floods of tears, personally, so the best of luck to you. Welcome, student Mr. Naruto, Esquire! Yes, Mr. Natsume? It's time, isn't it? Yes, this is it. Miss Olive Green and Mr. William Shamspeare. This is going to be the final battle. I won't really have saved Seki-san until I've exposed the whole truth of everything that's been going on. But it's all coming to a head now. You can do it, Rinsuke. You have to. It's been a while since I said his name. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. Before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from the defense, namely that the victim of the case we heard here only a few days ago was the true perpetrator of this incident. A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge from in my opinion. Prejudiced? Really? You were saying that? However, prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from dubious eastern shores. Thank you for that backhanded consideration. I've rather cold assessment from the Honorable British Prosecutor, I must say. So, Lord Van Zeeks, is the new witness present and ready to take the stand? Ready and waiting in the witness's antechamber. Very well, bailiff, bring in the witness. Bring the witness in. Bring the witness. Are you going to stand right next to the one you've tried to murder? Okay, cool. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court, please. William Shanspeare, my liege. For mine occupation, I can say only that I be a tragic victim, to be pitied. Currently unemployed, in other words. I'm Olive Green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no, not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure who's too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose. Also currently unemployed, in other words. What a coterie. Mr. Shanspeare. My lord, I am thy humble servant. I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair. The possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant, intent on taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you. I would it for naught else, my lord. And Miss Green? Yes? You are aware of the reason you have been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume? Yes, the officer did explain. He said I poisoned this ridiculous buffoon. And did you accept the charge, Miss Green? I don't know anything about any poisoning. And I don't know anything about this man. Come, lady. Die to live. Verily, I know not thy prickly pigmented personage. I was just imagining the person who animated him. Like, I wonder if there was a whole team for the people who would manipulate his, like, sprites and movement and stuff. He moves more than any other character in this entire thing. Very well, let's proceed with the matter at hand. That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair. It's all very strange. Very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me? I barely ever go to the East End anyway. It so happens that I passed by that neighborhood 6 days ago, that's all. And on the night that this man was poisoned, I was still in the hospital, fighting for my life. Yes, having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street outside the Garda house. An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days. I was struck in the middle of my back by a knife, through no fault of my own, and now I'm under suspicion? What other irrelevant things might I be suspected of? It's all very disturbing. Your energies may be better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green. At this point in time, all that appears to connect you with Mr. Shanspeare's lodgings is the Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. And that's why we would like you to testify formally now about exactly what happened. Oh no. The incident 6 days ago? You mean you want me to relive that awful accident? Unfortunately, yes. Please tell the court what happened that day. And, of course, we will be interested to hear from you about your movements that day too, Mr. Shanspeare. But what happened 6 days ago has nothing to do with me being poisoned. Let us proceed then. The witnesses will present their formal testimony to the court. On the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road in the evening of the 17th of February. It was 6 days ago, about 5 p.m. I was walking along in the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the men in this case have their lodgings. I was at the tavern on the eve in which thou speakest, for I had bespoke my supper. It was the first time I'd been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was admitted straight to the hospital, so I knew nothing about all this business. Yes, the second incident inside a week of what I believe to be aptly described as the haunted lodgings. Oh, don't give in to that, Judgy. Okay, we know he's connected to her. I think this was in Shamspeare's room, and this was what she was looking at. So, which means that she was in Shamspeare's room when she looked at it, or someone stole. I still don't understand that envelope. And it's been a couple days since I recorded, so I'm with you guys on that. One can only presume this is a most unfortunate coincidence. Meanwhile, you say you were not in your room, Mr. Shamspeare? 'Twas the following morn when I did awaken that I learned of the dire events. Mary, what a commotion did the officers of the law make on the floor above mine. And Saseki-san was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. As suspected, there was nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance. It's true, it does seem as though they're unrelated at first glance. But I'm not so sure. There's something lurking in the shadows here, I feel certain of it. And this is my one and only chance to expose it. Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses if you wish. Yes, my lord. Alright, we're gonna press everything until we get some more information from her. Maybe him. To get some stuff going on. Just to remind you guys, I do not remember anything else about this case. I'm just playing by ear here. Because the only thing I remembered was that he was blowing gas into Saseki's room, and that it took place on the same day. What was the other thing I remembered? Oh, him standing up when we thought he was dead. That was the other thing. Those are the two things I remembered about this case. Hold it! So we're gonna get all the information we can. I'm well acquainted with the case. I'm sorry you had to go through that. It was awful. I still can't believe I was unconscious for so long. And I woke up to find the case had been solved and the culprit arrested. Yes, the incident has been resolved already. Perhaps it would help you to consider it a bad dream that ended with your reckoning, and should not be forgotten. Yes, I suppose so. Thank you. But before you put it completely behind you, Miss Green, I need you to remember the details one last time. You must tell the court exactly what happened that day, for us to arrive at the truth about this new case. The trouble is, there's nothing to tell, really. I was just walking along the pavement. Hold it! What were you doing there that day, though? What do you mean? The art school you attend. What's it called? Ah, yes, it's the Thorndyke Academy of Fine Arts. According to Mr. Sholmes, that's just in the vicinity of Brixton Road, which is some 10 stops away from the scene on the underground. I believe you mentioned before that you also live in Brixton Road? Isn't that right? On Brixton Road? So why then would you have been walking along Briar Road in the middle of the East End? Well, it's because, oh yes, of course. I thought it might make a nice picture. The witness is a student of art, city-dwelling artists can't all paint grand urban vistas. That's right. I happen to like the crumbling look of that part of town. Perhaps quaint would have been a less grating term. The point is, she's definitely hiding something. Yes, it seems she's not going to be forthcoming with the truth. She's trying to hide why she was there that evening. It must mean that there's a reason for her not wanting us to know. That's the key to this. And you, Mr. Shamspeare, on the evening of the incident 6 days ago, would you tell the court what exactly you were doing? It would be my pleasure, sire. Hold it! A tavern, you say? Which one? 'Twas the Slug and Salad where I did tarry. 'Tis a jewel of the East End. And a little unexpected, I feel. What do you mean, Lord Ranzix? The Slug and Salad offers unusually fine dining for the locality, at least. Not an establishment you'd expect to be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room. It's true, the menu lists premium crusted bread and glasses of water, in different levels of cloudiness. That's gross. I would have expected grub's grubbery in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your needs. Watery soup and mushy peas, or rather, soupy water, pea-like mush. All equally appetizing. I just wanted to try some water in a different pub for once. What's wrong with that? How different can water really be? Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation. A specific reason why he had to go to that particular establishment? Agreed. The fact that on this day, of all days, he dined at a place he wouldn't normally, it does stand out. So Mr. Shamspeare's own actions on the day of the incident 6 days ago were slightly suspicious. I wonder if we have some evidence that can explain those actions. I don't think we do right now. I mean, I can't imagine what we would have. Because this is our only new thing. And it doesn't really have anything. So I'm gonna say not yet. And we'll come back to this later. Wish we did, but sadly I can't think of anything at the moment. If we find a clue that can explain why Mr. Shamspeare went there, we must present it to the court. Absolutely. That is all. I would like to ask Miss Green to reiterate her next statement. Yeah, we're gonna keep pressing everything. Maybe we'll get something. Hold it! With one of these. What little matter, Miss Green? Please elaborate. It was nothing really. It's not worth mentioning. If you remember, you mentioned it to us yesterday at the hospital. It was related to the card you were holding? From memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. What does that matter? This has nothing to do with Duncan. Something to say?
Excuse me!
Mr. Shamspeare, do you have something to share with the court? You recognize that name, perhaps? To be or not to be? That is the question. Ah, pray forgive me, the great bard's word springeth from within me with ne'er thought. Don't tell me. It's because you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hearing Miss Green's words a moment ago seemed to make you think of something of relevance, perhaps? Well, nay, sire, it was nothing at all. Presumably you know the name, though, Mr. Duncan Ross, After all, you were both lodgers in the same house. I would have wished so, but sadly nay. Lodging be a lonely occupation, sir. My lodging fellows be rarely known to me. So you haven't heard of him, even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours. Miss Green. Me, my lord. Have I done something wrong? The card that was mentioned before, containing the note, do you have it upon your person? I do, yes, but I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really. Before you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please. Of course, that's what linked Mr. Shamspeare and Miss Green. Okay, so now we have this, which is connected to this. Really? We're not... I wanted to read it. Fine. Oh. The envelope has been ripped open rather carelessly, hasn't it? Miss Green strikes me as the type to open correspondence more neatly than that. Ah. What is it? The way the envelope is torn. I'm almost sure I've seen that exact shape somewhere else. Oh, you don't mean... Were you thinking of this piece of evidence, Mr. Naruto? Exactly, that's it. Try to match them up. Dun dun dun! They go together perfectly. This torn off end of the envelope clearly belongs to this card. All right. Look at us connecting things. So was it Shamspear that had that? It's Duncan Ross. And now, continue with your testimony, please, Miss Green.
Hold it!
So maybe the letter told him to go to the Slug and Salad? I liked the different tones of that, like bling, bling, bling. I'm gonna give it a try. Mr. Shamspear? Yes, sire. On the day in question, is it not the case that you visited the Slug and Salad, a place you don't normally patronize, for a very particular reason? I don't know what you're talking about. Pray, if thou hast some purpose, speakst. Very well, I will present the court with evidence. Evidence that explains why you had to be at the Slug and Salad that day. Namely... It doesn't say anything, though.
Take that!
I believe this card reveals the answer. It's weird that it doesn't say what the card says. Good lord, Miss Green's card, you mean? That's right, my lord. It reads, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. See, when did I know that information? Was it yesterday? During investigation? Because that information was not here, and I did not remember that it mentioned the Slug and the Salad. I had to just kind of make that up, which I did. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Shamspear, your actions on the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing are exactly as described in this note. Ah. Personally, I find it hard to believe that's a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Shamspear? Well... Excuse me, can I say something? Yes, Miss Green? That card was delivered to me. It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it? Well, you'd think so, yes, but it's hard to believe it's merely... My lord, may I? May you will, Miss Green. I'd like to make something very clear about that card. Very well, then. You may amend your testimony. To include details about the peculiar note. Okay, but see,
Objection!
this was at his place. The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address. And upon carrying out the instructions on the note, you found yourself in hospital. Yes, I did. It's terrible, everything that's happened to me. Yes, it is terrible. If that's all true, that is. What do you mean? Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's a torn-off end of the envelope. Oh, is it? And it so happens it fits together perfectly with the envelope of the note you received. Where did you find that? In Mr. Shamspear's room. In my room? Mr. Shamspear, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Well... Your actions that afternoon follow the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. And so that's exactly where you went. Let me ask you again, Mr. Shamspear. You already knew about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green? What did I do? As this torn-off end of the envelope proves, the note was originally in Mr. Shamspear's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession? I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist after all. There's only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shamspear's room and stole it. You did what? Sorry, thou hast what? Thou were in my room? What on earth do you want with me? It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again. Miss Green. Yes? Whilst you have the cold sympathy, I'm sure, for the suffering you have endured in recent events, anyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished. Please bear that in mind. Yes, I know. Very well then, witnesses. You will give formal testimony again now. On the subject of the curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received. I do remember now. 'Twas a week ago. Her adventure. The note was delivered unto me. On the day writ therein, I did tarry the long hour at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came. Thereafter, on the evening, I shared the company of Japanese folk. I did see the note had vanished. I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, do you? Why would I? I can point out the villain here, and as for that torn-off piece of envelope, I don't know anything about it. You now claim to have received this letter, do you, Mr. Shamspear? Faith, 'tis so, my lord. And I would swear to have set it upon the table in my humble lodgings. Yet 'tis clear to me that now, since I returned from the tavern that night, I have not laid eyes upon it. Well, that being the case, young lady, it would appear that your testimony was... A lie? Is that what you think? How unfair of you to think I'm the one lying. I beg your pardon. I'm just a fledgling artist, as I said. Fledgling artists don't lie. That note was delivered to me at my address. Besides, we all know who the liar around here is. If that's true, Miss Green, how do you explain the facts? This part of the envelope was, without question, found in Mr. Shamspear's room. I don't see why I should explain. Sorry. I'm a fledgling artist. My job here is just to say what happened. That's all. It's your job to give the explanations and the proofs. You, the fledgling lawyer. The fledgling will do his best. Evidently, my learned friend's cross-examination is our only hope of learning the truth. Well, counsel? I'm ready, my lord. Very well, then. The defense will now proceed with the cross-examination of the witnesses. Miss Green clearly did break into Mr. Shamspear's room. There can be no question of that. And that's how she acquired the note. Yes, two facts that are starting to lead me to a possible explanation for all of this. And it's not a pretty one.
Hold it!
And can you shed any light on the contents of the note at all? Nay, sire. 'Tis as strange to me as a foreign tongue. Even with a knowledge of literature as great as mine own, verily 'tis impenetrable. But Mr. Duncan Ross had lodgings in the same household as you. In effect, he was your neighbor, so surely you knew him, didn't you? Alack! If the choice is betwixt I knew him and knew him not, then 'tis with foreboding that I'm forced to declare we were some small measure acquainted. Despite your claims, though, you followed the note's instructions and went to the slug and salad. Presumably that was nothing to do with your knowledge of literature. Marry, not will have the better of me, sire, save for the lure of curiosity. So 'tis true, I was compelled by mine own eager heart to betake myself to the tavern. Yet in the end, my curiosity was not satiated.
Hold it!
So even after waiting for an hour, nobody appeared? Well, yes, sire. 'Tis as thou sayst. Really? You paused for a moment before you answered. In truth, when thou asked whether nobody appeared, I did suddenly recall. Really? Do you mean to tell the court that somebody did appear after all? I was not alone that night at the slug and salad, my lord. No, 'tis returning to me now. I did treat my lips to almost clear water, and mine innards to a premium crust of bread. And all around me danced a great many companions. What do you mean? Flies, sire, flies. Good lord. In the name of Beelzebub, what were they? Fairies, perchance, from Midsummer's Night's Dream. Come to taunt me. I think they were just flies. I can't help thinking that the flies ought to choose something more wholesome to buzz around. Is that wrong of me?
Hold it!
When exactly did you notice it had gone missing? Such idle thoughts ne'er occupy my mind. I am busied with greater ideas. In other words, you didn't notice. Several days passed between your outing to the tavern and Mr. Natsume's visit to your room. Yes, it would appear that the note disappeared sometime in that interval. Such idle thoughts ne'er occupied my mind. I am busied with greater ideas. And yet, during that time, Miss Green was comatose in the hospital, was she not? Clearly, then, she could not have been stealing things from Mr. Shamspeare's room. Yes, of course. It's all some sort of misunderstanding, isn't it, Mr. Prosecutor, sir? I've so far failed to give satisfactory explanation as to how you came by the note. Ah! I'm not yet advocate for defense, madam. I won't tolerate inconsistencies in your story. You would do well to remember that. Oh, dearie me. What sort of antique's getting at?
Hold it!
It seems that this note was actually delivered to Mr. Shamspeare about a week ago. Oh, does it? But for some reason, it ended up in your possession. I can't think of any way that could have happened, except for your breaking into Mr. Shamspeare's lodgings.
Objection!
But for what reason? The witness have done that. I deny that Miss Green's possession of the note would appear to defy logic. However, until and unless her involvement in this case can be proven in some other way, any further pursuit of this note is meaningless. Miss Green could only have come to be in possession of the note by stealing it from Mr. Shamspeare's room. And yet, there's no obvious reason why she would have done such a thing. What if there was some other reason she broke into his lodgings, though? Yes, we should pursue that idea, Mr. Naruto. We're close now, I can feel it. We're so close to a breakthrough.
Hold it!
So you don't want to tell the court the truth about the letter, is that it? I'm a fledgling artist, remember? Artists are nearly always introverted characters. Introverted, fie! This fledgling doth readily cast aspersions about my nature. Yet I am an angel, a seraph. Birds do harmonize with my song. The wind doth frolic on my wings. O pity, wherefore dost thou accuse one so pure of heart, ample woman? Pure of heart? I don't think so. Even a fledgling like me can see you're just a failure. Tragedy, thou shalt not know the true heart of an artist until thine instruction hereafter by death. Oh, the days, oh, the years, alas, to enlighten thee, thou must wait so long and in vain. Mr. Naruto, interject with some clever remark. This is your chance to shine. I'm not a Shakespearean actor, Miss Susato. No, as far as I can tell, the only thing that's going to resolve this argument is evidence, yes. It's clear that Miss Green did in fact break into Mr. Shamspeare's room, isn't it? And that's where she found this letter. Yes, two more or less foregone conclusions that lead me to one terrifying conclusion. Terrifying? Yes, I'm afraid to say that the outcome of this cross-examination may well change how we look at this case completely. Okay. Well, I guess we have to present something here. And I guess that the only thing that we can really present is this.
Objection!
Yesterday at the hospital, we saw you with this bottle. And though the contents spilt during the course of our meeting, a small quantity remained. Ah! According to the defense's independent analysis, Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Sout, the liquid that was still in the bottle was identified as strychnine. What? Strychnine. The very same poison that afflicted Mr. Shamsphere. Ah! Miss Green, you broke into this man's lodgings for one reason and one reason alone. To cover the end of the pipe that feeds the gas lamp in Mr. Shamspeare's room with poison. Can this be? You broke into my room to... It may seem incredible to the court, but from the remaining clues, there's only one logical conclusion that we can reach. The person who attempted to take Mr. Shamspeare's life with poison was you, Miss Olive Green. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dearie. Me! Did she not have anything drawn on that? Oh, order! Order! Counsel, are you seriously suggesting this woman put poison on the end of a gas pipe with intent to kill? Yes, my lord. There's no other way to explain the facts. But if Miss Green did intend to set this odious trap 6 days ago, and the victim had put his mouth to the pipe that very evening as expected, the attempted murder would have happened 6 days ago, surely. Well, that's a very good point. I think I already talked this through with you guys. Sorry. Perhaps not my fault. Oh, Van Zieks. I beg your pardon? There was significant police presence in the area that evening on account of the incident on Briar Road. Local residents were being interviewed throughout the night as part of the ongoing inquiry. A circumspect criminal would likely have chosen not to carry out any wrongdoing at that time. Lord Van Zieks. And of course, the following morning, there was more activity at Mr. Shamspeare's address. More activity? Yes. You mean his fellow lodger, Mr. Natsume, being arrested on suspicion of murder. That's right. And as the defense has already proposed, Mr. Shamspeare was meddling with the gas in the pipe for a very sinister reason himself. To cause the gas stove in Mr. Natsume's room to go out, thereby asphyxiating the occupant. But once Mr. Natsume had been arrested, his room was under constant surveillance by the police. In the circumstances, Mr. Shamspeare had no reason to blow air into the gas pipe. His intended victim being in a prison cell. With the need to tamper with the gas removed, the poison in the pipe lay dormant. And then 3 days ago now, the situation changed again. Right, Mr. Natsume's trial, which took place here at the Old Bailey, came to an end. The trial in which the man stood accused of stabbing Miss Green in the back, but was duly acquitted. That resulted in Mr. Natsume returning to his lodgings for the first time in 2 days. And that very night, his gas stove mysteriously went out, and Mr. Shamspear was mysteriously poisoned. In conclusion, the poison that was present in the mouth of the gas pipe had been put there in the victim's room some 4 days earlier. With the new understanding, it becomes clear that this letter was all part of that plan. What plan? The court will recall that this note gave instructions to visit the slug in the salad at 5 o'clock, and that the recipient should tell nobody else. The reason for those instructions are now clear. To ensure that the lodger would not be at home at the stated time. To make sure I wasn't home? Exactly. While you were out, Miss Green could safely slip into your room, knowing that she wouldn't be disturbed. You mean to say, that letter was written by Miss Green, yes. And in order to cover her tracks, she took it away with her when she left. Just after she smeared poison over the mouth of the gas pipe in your room. Order, order. What do you have to say for yourself, witness? Just who are you? Why do you try to kill me? Miss Green's motive should be obvious. It's all tied up with someone whose name we've heard several times already during the course of this trial. So, that's what's behind all this. You will share your apparent understanding with the court, please, counsel. Which person is behind this woman's motive for the attack of the victim's life?
Take that!
Duncan Ross. That's right. Before the defendant, Mr. Natsume, took up residence in the lodgings of Mr. Garadebs, somebody else was renting the room. Mr. Duncan Ross. I knew we'd heard that name somewhere else. Just all over the papers. And the men died in strange circumstances at the haunted lodgings. That does ring a bell. Of course, yes, I remember now. The young man they claimed was strangled by the convict's curse or some such. Sadly, my lord, it wasn't a curse of any kind, nor was it an accident. The man died as a result of Mr. Shamspear blowing into the gas pipe and causing gas to leak into the room. It was murder, plain and simple. Well, what do you know? Why do they always laugh? The world is so unfair. Curses, curious deaths. That's all people care about. If it's an interesting story they want to know, it doesn't cross their minds that real people are involved. And once they're bored, just 1 month later, once the story lost its appeal, everyone's forgotten him. You mean you? Duncan was... Mr. Ross was Miss Green's fiancé. Fiancé? You may not have known him until you may not have known until now who Miss Green really is, Mr. Shamspear. But she's known exactly who you are all along. Because you're her sworn enemy, the murderer who took the life of the man she was to marry. Marry? Miss Green, is it not the case that in order to exact revenge on Mr. Shamspear, you smeared poison over the end of the gas pipe? This is quite extraordinary. Am I correct in my understanding that you now accuse both parties, counsel? Each on different counts of murder? Well, technically hers is attempted. Yes, my lord, that's correct.
Objection!
Inhaling so deeply, it appears that my fledgling learned friend has taken in a lungful of dubious gas that's causing his judgment to be clouded. What? Why would Mr. Shamsbury have him to kill those lodgers, as you say? You've completely failed to provide a motive to substantiate your accusation against the man. Yes, that's right, Mr. Reaper, my liege. I have been slighted. 'Tis lies, all lies. I deny every utterance. And you'll have to forgive me, Mr. Naruto, sir. But I don't intend to admit to anything either. Miss Green? I'm sure you think I'm being very rude, but I'm not going to be sent to the gallows for the likes of this scoundrel.
Objection!
But you broke into the man's room. If you didn't do it to smear poison on the pipe, what was your reason? Thought I'd have a look around, that's all. Sorry. You're right, I suspected him. So I thought perhaps I might find some evidence or something in his room. Evidence that it was him who took Duncan's life. Oh vileness, oh villainy, oh tyranny, oh rotundity of woman. But in any case, whenever I leave my room, I do turn the key in the lock. That whole place is falling apart. The locks on the door are no different. Duncan showed me once how to unlock the door with some terps and a piece of wire. Oh awfulness, oh artfulness, oh tyranny, oh profanity of woman. Maybe consider your trespassing on some future occasion. But for now, tell the court what you found, what evidence your search revealed. Well, I spotted the note that I'd sent him lying on the ground. When I went to pick it up, I noticed something. One of the floorboards was loose, and underneath it I discovered a secret hiding place. Eh? Yes, we also discovered that hiding place. Inside we found a newspaper cutting, a photograph, and an empty tin box. Yes, well, the thing is, when I found it, the box wasn't empty. What? There was something in it? Yes. What was in it? This rather nice key. I knew that key was had to be important somehow. I'm like, why do you have a key around your neck? What are you doing with that? You just noticed that she had that? What the? Every ounce of color has drained from his face. Give it here! Give it to me now! It's mine! I inherited it! What was that, witness? What did you say? You inherited it. No, What's all this about? He inherited that key? It was obviously important to you since you'd gone such lengths to hide it, so I took it. I don't know what it's for, but you took something precious from me, so I took something precious from you. So what if it means you can't open something now? I don't care. Give it back this minute! Give it to me! Calm yourself, witness. So Mr. Shamsbury has tried, and in one case succeeded, to take the life of 2 lodgers now. Yes, his motive for doing so is the key to everything that's happened. It's true that there appears to be no motive to support the accusation against Mr. Shamsbury, at first. But considering everything we now know, I think there is actually something that could explain it. What? I need to recall every piece of evidence at our disposal, everything we've seen and heard. Because I'm sure that I just caught a glimpse of the link that runs through all of these events. In that case, counsel, I must demand that you present evidence to the court to support your claim. What is it that you say can explain the motivation for Mr. Shamsbury's alleged crimes? Well, time to catch on fast here with what's going on here.
Take that!
That's an official police report, is it not? Selden, how did you get a hold of that? Selden? Wow, look at his face now. So many different emotions and images for this guy. The now sadly deceased Mr. Ross and this defendant, Mr. Natsume, have only one thing linking them. The fact that they had lodgings in the same room. Well, yes, we know this, certainly. A room that was formerly occupied by somebody. Until that is, he was arrested by Scotland Yard for his involvement in multiple burglaries. I see. And it so happens that the convict Selden left behind one very substantial mystery when he died. The sum of £1,000 worth of loot that he stole, which as yet remains to be found. Yes, of course. It's coming back to me now. It's written in his file. £1,000 lost. That was how the paper summed it up. And it seems that one particular fellow inmate was with the convict in his final moments. It's not hard to imagine Selden entrusting that inmate with his most closely guarded secret, the location of the stolen loot, and perhaps a key to unlock whatever container the valuables were in. You mean this key is... Mr. Shamspeare, it was you, wasn't it? You were the capital offender's side when he died, were you not? What are you talking about? It's a false charge, I tell you, a false charge! The name of the inmate who was with Selden at his death isn't noted in his file, but a simple telegram to the prison where he died would quickly tell us how false the charge really is. But even if it's true, why would the man be so intent on killing every subsequent occupant of the convict's lodgings? There's only one explanation for that, my lord. It was in that very room that Selden hid his loot. So, it all comes out. Yes, and having established that, all of Mr. Shamspeare's subsequent actions start to make perfect sense. When he was let out of prison following Selden's death, he made immediately for Mr. Garrett's lodgings in the hope of renting Selden's old room. However, the retired army man was unable to offer him the accommodation of his choice, because Selden's old room had already been let to somebody else, Mr. Duncan Ross. Ah! Which is why Mr. Shamspeare subsequently devised his gas-based plot to kill the occupant of the room. And when he was successful, he presumably intended to inquire about switching into the newly vacant room. However, a certain jittery someone had beaten him to it. Mr. Soseki Natsume, the defendant of this case, no less. So you decided to use the ploy with the gas again, didn't you, Mr. Shamspeare? This time to oust Mr. Natsume. All for one simple and avaricious reason. To get your hands on the £1,000 of loot left behind by the dead convict. Ouch. Looks like I'm gonna snuff it before they get to stretch my neck. Listen, I want you to have me loot. Anything to stop the coppers getting their mitts on it. It's in the room where I was lodging when they got me. Here, this is the key to it. Take it. Always stay one step ahead, mate. Ah, Shamspeare, named. It was in fact him. It's mine. What did you just say? It's mine. That loot is mine. Oh gosh. Mr. Shamspeare. It's all lies. I don't accept any of it. Why should I? After all, you don't have a shred of evidence. You can't prove I killed that fella. Forsooth, I'm the victim here, remember? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? If I don't admit to it, there's nothing you can do. You can't arrest me. For the time being, anyway. Verily, you can't arrest the victim, can you? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? I'm so close. I just need a few more hours. I swore to myself that I'd get my hands on it. And I can almost taste it now. Do you really think I'd just give up? There's no question in my mind now. This man is guilty through and through. But he seems so utterly intoxicated by the idea of that loot. I'm afraid that however hard you press him, he'll never admit to what he's done, Mr. Naruto. There is a way. Pardon? There's one way I can finish him. No. He's already committed the most heinous crimes to get his hands on that loot. Which means all we need to do is find it first. A fine plan. Of course, not for the fact that the police thoroughly searched the room following the death of Mr. Ross. If it's there at all, it must be very well hidden indeed. Without conclusive evidence, I certainly cannot rule. If only there was some way we could find the convicts quickly. This is the final piece in this complex puzzle. But I think we might have it in our possession already. What? The loot? I'm sorry, what? Is it the cheap bar of soap? It's like 1,000 pounds. What's the loot, though? Or rather, I think we may well have something that can help us find where that loot is hidden. I was thinking this sort of thing. Like, we just find his handprint somewhere in the other room. If we have traces of his handprint or fingerprint or something. Because I think that's the only thing that I can think of that would help us find it. My lord. Yes, counsel. The defense would like to make a proposal about how to find the late convict's hidden loot. I believe we are already in possession of something that could give us a clue as to its whereabouts. Continue your dance, go ahead. It's our last chance, so it has to be worth a gamble. Besides, we've used the same technique once already, and it definitely paid off then. Yeah, okay, it has to be the handprints. Very well then, counsel, let the court hear your idea. What do you propose we can use in order to locate the hiding place of the deceased convict's hall?
Take that!
If I'm not mistaken, those are Mr. Shamspeare's handprints on the wall of his lodgings. And that's right, my lord. Exposed as a result of the defense's independent investigation of the scene. Based on a wonderful new discovery in the field of forensic science by the great detective Mr. Sholmes. A great detective? Is this some kind of joke? Do you really think I'm going to be daunted by a man with such a ridiculous title? I should think the great bard ought to recognize such a I should think the great bard ought to recognize such a title when he hears one, Mr. Shamspeare. Perhaps we should compete for the honor of the most ridiculous title. Why, it is Sherlock Sholmes himself! What are you doing here, great detective? Your usual haunts of the filthy back streets of the capital, are they not? Ah, Mr. Reaper, it's been too long. But I see your complexion has worsened since last we met. Mr. Sholmes. He does know Lord Van Zinks, then. Well enough to say something like that, in any case. Mr. Sholmes, though you may be heralded as a great detective by the population at large, that does not give you the right to come and go in my courtroom as you see fit. If I may, my lord, Mr. Sholmes' newly developed scientific method has helped us to uncover vital clues in this case already. Clues, you say? I call them skin prints, my lord. My method identifies every location touched by an individual under scrutiny. It is the method by which we are able to ascertain this gentleman's gas pipe activities. You need only a small sample, something the individual has previously touched to make an indicator solution. In your case, I used the teacup you had been holding. Elementary. So now, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? What am I to use as a sample to make the indicator solution this time? Key? Thank you for offering to help, Mr. Sholmes. When the convict was arrested, he was living in what is now Saseki-san's room. We need a sample to help locate Selden's loot that's hidden in his old room. What form will the sample take? I think it's the key. Do I present her? We will need something of Selden's in order to create the indicator solution to find his loot, and something the convict owns happens to be in the possession of somebody listed in court record. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, your powers of reasoning appear to be on the up. So, which particular person do you have in mind? From whom can we obtain the possession of the late convict Selden to create the indicator solution?
Take that!
Miss Green? Me? What do you want with me? The key around your neck, if you please. Sorry? He is so mad. That key belonged to Selden. There will be remnants of secretions by the man's skin on the surface of that we can use. Very true. That is the sample we need. Using it, we can create the indicator solution required for Mr. Sholmes' skin print seeker. And find out exactly what Selden touched in the room that he used to rent. Mr. Shamspeare, as one great to another, I assure you, if the late convict's hell is hidden somewhere in his former lodgings, I shall uncover it in no more than 30 minutes. So, Mr. Shamspeare, the truth is well within our grasp now, and as such, you will never get your hands on Selden's stolen wealth. In that case, I'll gladly let Mr. Sholmes have this key. No! Give the key to me! The detective shan't have it! Oh, but we shall. It's over, Mr. Shamspeare. No. You're out of options now. There's only one thing left for you to do. Admit your guilt. Whoa. Oh, shameful spear, despair. By thy name. I see that Olive Green got out of there before all that started happening. I never intended to kill the man. I just wanted to drive him out of the room. That's all. So you'd have the time to find the convict's haul of stolen goods. Yet after you killed the young man, you still couldn't move into the room. I asked the landlord, of course. I pleaded with him, but he refused. Why? I was 3 months behind with the rent, for one thing. Mr. Gerda really has a lot to put up with. And he had the gas repair work done immediately afterward, putting the room out of action for a while. And then this Japanese man swooped in, just the right moment to sign the new lease. Poor Mr. Natsume, what unfortunate timing. He really is unlucky. Then 5 days ago, after the incident on Briar Road, when the Japanese fellow got himself arrested, I thought I'd finally have my chance. But it wasn't to be. No, the scene was sealed off and guarded by the police night and day. And if I remember rightly, Mr. Sholmes spent the whole day in there reading books. That's right. I couldn't even enter the room, let alone search for the loot. Which is why on the day Mr. Natsume was acquitted and returned to his room, he once again tried to trick blowing air into the gas pipe that feeds the stove in his room. Unbeknownst unbeknownst to you, however, that action would lead you into a deadly trap. William Shakespeare. How does it go? To be or not to be, that is the question. From Shakespeare's Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. Look at you with the knowledge. Well, let me tell you, in your case, it's not to be. That is the answer. You deserve to die for what you've done. Look at how much shorter she is than him. At first, I really did think it was just a terrible accident. I'll never forget our conversation the night before Duncan died. The gas supply in my new lodgings are a complete disaster, you know of. The gas supply? Yes, the stove always seems to go out in the middle of the night for some reason. That's no joke. They say it's the convict's curse. Oh, Duncan, please, don't stay there. I don't care how cheap it is. Alright then, if it's that important to you, I'll start looking for a new place. There are spare rooms in my house. Oh, there are spare rooms at my house? Why don't you leave that horrible room tonight? No, I better not. We said we'd wait until we graduate before we told our parents, remember? And that was the last time we ever spoke. That very night, he fell victim to the gas. If only I'd known it was going to happen, I'd have insisted he left that horrible room that instant. But instead, all I've been left with is bitter regret. I stopped going to school, but something kept drawing me back to the house on Briar Road. I saw a stooped Eastern-looking man with a mustache coming out of the house one day when I was there. He walked up the road to Grub's Grubbery for some food, so I followed him and sat myself down next to him. He had some watery-looking soup and started to pick a quarrel with the publican. That place is cursed, I tell you, cursed! The ghost of that convict who used to live there is trying to suffocate me! I wake up in the middle of the night, freezing to death because the stove has gone out. The room is full of gas and I can hardly breathe. But the pipes have been checked, no problem there. It's like, I'm the problem, that's what they're thinking. But how could that be? Duncan was gone, and now this man had almost suffered the same fate. Could it really be a curse? And then I remembered. Sorry, it wasn't clicking. A rumor I'd heard about how the gas companies go around investigating the gas installations. A rumor? You mean? Yes, everybody's heard the stories, it seems, about how they go around checking the pipes. How anything connected to the gas can be extinguished by blowing air into the pipework. And that's when it started. A little flicker of doubt in the back of my mind that just wouldn't go away. Was it really an accident, though? Once I had the idea, it wouldn't leave me alone. It plagued me day and night. So I bought this at one of the black markets in the East End. So it wasn't from a doctor. A black market? I'd never been, I just heard people talk about them. And you really can buy anything you could think of there. In some ways, being able to get my hands on this so easily made me even more determined. I had to find out one way or another. Was Duncan's death an accident, or was it murder? And you chose a method for establishing the truth was simple, but highly effective. Some mere poison on the gas pipe you suspected the man of tampering with, and wait. If Mr. Shakespeare was innocent, nothing would come of what you'd done. But if he was guilty, he would pay for his crimes dearly. I found out the name of the man I suspected, William Shakespeare. And then I wrote him this little note. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It's a matter of utmost importance. If he'd done it, I knew that would worry him enough so he'd be sure to go. So I waited to see if it works. And of course, Mr. Shamspeare followed the instructions to the letter. In the letter, to the letter. I worked out where the gas pipe was straight away, so I smeared a good amount of the poison I'd bought all around the mouth of the pipe. All the time praying that the devil's work wouldn't be done, and that it was all just some wild fantasy. Actually, no. All the time praying that the devil's work would be done, and that the culprit would get his just desserts. "3 days ago, when you were first stood in the dock before me, this whole affair seemed relatively straightforward. Yes, my lord. I certainly never imagined the depths of depravity that we should I certainly never imagined the depths of depravity that we should subsequently find lurking behind the scenes. It has been a long road, Miss Friend." "Oh, yes. And one I certainly didn't envisage walking with you." Was I supposed to say envision? Is envisage a word? "Nevertheless, together we have reached the light at the end of the tunnel, I suppose. Miss Green." "Yes, my lord." "You will henceforth be stripped of your freedom as punishment for the attempted murder of Mr. William Shamspeare." "Yes, I know." "And you, Mr. Shamspeare, you will be tried for the murder of Mr. Duncan Ross in cold blood, and the subsequent attempted murder of Mr. Saseki Natsume here present." Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Yesterday at the hospital, when you and your friends stopped me from ending your life by drinking what was left in the poison bottle. I wasn't myself. I can't even really remember what that was going on through my mind. To be or not to be, I suppose. That's a question that's so hard to answer, it seems. Well, personally, I'm glad of your being here, Miss Green. Oh? And I'd like to believe that it's a blessing that Mr. Shamspeare didn't die when he ingested the poison. For your sake, at the very least. Because of you, I chose life, not death. And now you've made the truth come out at last. Really, I can't thank you enough. Oh, Miss Green. Mr. Saseki Natsume. Yes, my lord. The court declares that you are exonerated from all blame in this matter. Accordingly, I would call upon the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to present the verdict of not guilty. We are in full agreement, my lord. In that case, I hereby declare the defendant not guilty. Yay. Confetti. Fireworks. Court is adjourned. Oh, yes. Yes, at last. Divine justice duly done. Divine justice. My dear fellow, if there were any divine justice in this world, you would shave that mustache. What is with everybody and his mustache? No! This has nothing to do with my mustache! Some say that the luxuriant mustache is a sign of physical prowess, Mr. Sholmes. Welcome, student Mr. Naruto Esquire! Once again, you've saved me from doom! I'm very happy to have been able to help Mr. Natsume. Congratulations on your acquittal. You're second in almost as many days. I was first acquainted with and gained affection for English literature whilst in our great homeland empire. And then, by a twist of fate, I was brought to the land that bore the fruit of that literature. Only, the city of bricks and mortar became my prison. Try as I might, I never found my feet here. In the end, I confined myself to my room and lived life through friendly old books. You've had such a difficult time, haven't you? Ah, but a week ago now, I dragged you out of that dark and dingy room of yours, did I not? You did, and I've seen more of life in this week than in all my years to date. And for the first time, I feel I've begun to see the true face of the English that so far have been hiding from me behind the wall of fog. My dear fellow, there's nothing special about the true face of English, as you put it. Wheresoever one goes in the world, humans are human. There are a few genuine differences. Yes, I think you're right. I finally started to see that, and I've come to understand something. I've worked out why I was attracted to English literature in the first place. It made me see that whatever our nationality, we humans all have the same hopes and fears. We're all just doing our best to live. Well said. I kind of feel the same way. I've made a decision, too. I'm going to cut short my study tour here, and return to Japan. What? Just when we've become friends here in England. What a terrible shame. Oh, I know. That does tug at my heartstrings. It really does. But I've decided I'd like to take everything I learned here in Britain and write something of my own. A novel of sorts, I suppose. Oh, nice. So you'll be creating your own literature, Mr. Natsume? How wonderful. Oh, well, I wouldn't presume to call it literature. Why not? And that's precisely the definition, Mr. Mustache. I suppose you're right, yes. It will, in a way, be literature. But as of now, all I know is that I'd like to try my hand at writing. I have no delusions of grandeur. I, for one, would love to read your work. Well, all things considered, it might be for the best. After all, you have once again emerged victorious from a battle with the Reaper. That's very true. And there is no salvation for a person in the dock when the Reaper is the prosecutor. The desire to return post-haste to the perceived safety of your homeland is one I quite understand. My goodness, yes, faced with such a terrifying prospect. Nobody would consider that cowardly, I'm quite sure. But that's not why I'm leaving! I mean it! Objection! And that was the case that we found ourselves embroiled in 6 months ago now. And Soseki-san did indeed return to Japan and submitted a report about both cases to the government. It was on reading that report that Professor Mikotoba was prompted to visit the scholar. And barely any time later, Susato-san was given the news that she must return to Japan as well. On the back of a telegram stating falsely that her father had fallen gravely ill. The only possible explanation that comes to mind is what happened after the trial, on the following day. The day that we uncovered the loot, hidden by the now deceased convict in his former lodgings. Oh, the loot! The loot! The loot is the secret. I was like, what about that was secretive? Seems like a simple enough thing. Oh, well done, Mr. Sholmes. How simply marvelous of you to uncover the secret hiding place in just one day. Wasn't it supposed to take 30 minutes? As I believe I told you, my dear fellows, skin prints are extremely useful in such situations. Wouldn't you agree, Grace? He's anger eating again. Trixie's been happily munching in agreement this whole time, you know, Hurley. Yeah, happily. Happily, I think perhaps humorlessly might be closer to the truth. So, it transpires the man fashioned a hiding place in the ceiling. And what's in it? What exactly is the loot? Let us look then, if you're ready. Let's examine the late burglar's haul. Yes, please. What is that? It looks to be some sort of neckband or collar. Is that blood? Also, is that it? Is this all that's there? A collar? It's huge, though. And look at all the gemstones set in it. I can see why it was claimed to be worth 1,000 pounds. Perhaps if I could have it as a belt. Oh, have you noticed the inside there? There are some dark stains. You don't think they could be blood, do you? I mean, there's quite a lot of it. On second thought, perhaps I won't have it as a belt. Then, of course, there's this emblem here. A large letter B and a small crown. What does it signify, do you think? Oh, I hadn't noticed that. Oh, that was Runescape that was saying, what does it signify? I feel as though I've seen that emblem somewhere before. You know, where could it have been? And that's enough of that, I think. What? What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes? All the color has drained from his face. Well, Inspector, I believe you ought to be taking this, oughtn't you? It could be valuable evidence, after all. It must be kept safely under lock and key. Ah, yes. Get your grubby hands off that, you lot, and hand it over, now. I've never seen a collar that large before. And all those jewels certainly look like they'd be extremely valuable. But that's not what stood out the most to me. At least not once I noticed it. Those dark marks on the inside of the collar, those stains, could they really have been blood? Well, that was a funny case, wasn't it? But it's all buttoned up now. And you look very pleased, Iris. I am, because I was starting to wonder what I could use as the basis of this month's story in the magazine. But this case will be perfect. It's been so fascinating. You're talking about the latest installment of the Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, I presume. The Mystery of the Knife in the Mist. And The Mustached Man and the Convict's Curse, perhaps. I could make it a two-part story. Oh, I can't wait. A word, please, Iris. Yes? What is it, Hurley? I'm sorry, but you can't write about this case. It's out of the question. What? Why not? It's a great case. Then I shall have to insist that you limit yourself to the first of your two titles. The second must never be written. Is that clear? Yes.
And so it was that the second of Souseki-san's cases became buried in obscurity.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Runescape, for reading that for me. I guess I'm not going to be attempting the voice.
Now, looking back, I feel I understand. I can see why Mr. Sholmes forbade Iris from publishing the story. It would take a little longer before I saw the link between everything that had happened and would happen. For it wasn't until 2 months after the arrival of Susato-san's letter that events began to unfurl again, with an incident that took place at the very heart of the eagerly awaited Great Exhibition of London.
Which we will play next time. Because that's the end of this episode. So this is this overarching mystery that is going to continue here. Um, it's yeah. So that case, I do love Saseki. I think that he's a lot of fun. He's a fun client to have. Um, Shamspear is obnoxious, but in a good way, in a fun way. But it is really, it's one of those sad cases, you know, where it has like that background of Olive Green's fiance and all of that stuff. And it's always those sad and deeper ones that are really good, though. And then the whole mystery surrounding it and how you don't really find out until the end because it's like, oh, it's all, you know, business as usual. And then it's like, oh, this collar with these gemstones and the blood and that's, you know, a big deal and how it kind of it's going to jumpstart into springboard into the rest of the mystery for that. But yeah, I really like this case because I do like Saseki and Shamspear is funny. And that whole moment where he like gets up when you don't expect him to is terrifying the first time around. It wasn't as terrifying for me because I expected it, and plus I was reading, so I wasn't really as focused with that because I wanted to make sure that I timed out the words as he was getting up. But that's a great moment that this these games have not really given you a moment like that before. So that's a unique and great moment. I do like how some of these cases they have these unique things to go along with it. Like this was the fingerprint thing, and the last case of the last game was the stereoscope, and then we had the blood samples or whatever. And I don't know whether any of those come back. I don't think the stereoscope comes back. I think that was just a one-off, but I mean it's cool the different gimmicks, I guess you could call them, that this game has and puts in. But yeah, so this was fun. How it was like a more complicated one where we had like two murders or two attempted murders or three attempted murders or no, a murder and two attempted murders, and in one case it was crazy, all the things, and it didn't overstay its welcome too much. I don't think that this one felt egregiously long in any way. I was thinking towards the end there, like it was like, well, I know why, I know her motive. Like we knew about Duncan from the start. So I feel like seeing that picture and then seeing him again in the picture with Garrideb kind of revealed what was going on there and what the motive was as far as hers. But I guess we still needed to get that motive of why he did it and how that connected to the prisoner, which I'm sure was kind of boiling in our minds anyway because we had the information about the prisoner, about Selden. So, but anyway, all that to be said, we are done with this and we are going into episode 3, The Return of the Great Departed Soul. And I guess we're going to find out what that's all about next time. So stick around, stay tuned, subscribe for the update, and I will talk to you guys next time.